Well, hey there everyone. So this week was kind of a shorter week for me because I did end up going to the Ren Fair on Monday because it was President's Day and they had like a buy one get one kind of deal. So here's some pictures of me going to the Renaissance Fair in my costume. And that's also where I got this really cute hairpin, if you can see that. And so since my week was kind of short and I was really tired on Monday, so I took kind of Tuesday off, so I decided I was going to do something a little bit quicker this week again, but I am very excited for what I'm going to be doing. So for a while now, I've been seeing these detachable collars all over the place. Some that go like inside your shirt that kind of look like in Peter Pan when the dad, the darling's dad, in the very beginning of the cartoon has like that little, just like, I'm just going to show you here, and it keeps like rolling up and hitting me in the face and stuff. It kind of looks like that. So you just kind of like put it on and then you put a sweater on over it and it looks like you're wearing like a collared shirt without the whole business of a big collared shirt underneath the sweater. So I've been seeing that in a bunch of places and I wanted to try to do a couple of those. And then I also have been seeing like just the collar bit where you just kind of like put it on top of like a sweater or something. So I wanted to try a couple of those as well because I figured these aren't going to be very long projects. So I'm just going to do a couple of them and see where we go. So I did end up getting another pattern from this lovely person on Etsy. And this came with 6 styles of the kind of shirt that you would tuck in or you would put on and then put a sweater over. So pretty much my plan is to do 1 of the shirts that we'll tuck in, and then you put a sweater on, and then 2 of just separate collars. So pretty much for this pattern, I'm just gonna take 2 just of the collars and not attach them to a shirt or anything and just make the little separate collars, and then 1 of the full thing. So for the materials, the first collar that I wanted to do was this really cute like curved one. I'll put pictures here probably, and this is just going to be a separate collar by itself, and I chose this material for it. Yeah, so I chose this just like really cute green polka dotty material for the collar. And then the second one that I'm going to do is also just the collar itself, and it's kind of just like a little rounded one, but it's going to have lace coming out of the edge. So I chose this material for it. Yeah, so that's also just going to be a separate one. And then for the last bigger full one, I wanted to do just like a white generic sheet, but I did have some of that white sheet left from when I did my big green 16th century inspired Italian Renaissance gown of the underneath, and which was a white sheet, but I had like a little bit of detailing that you can't really tell is there unless you know it's there, but it pretty much just looks like that. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the details in that. So I'm just gonna make that out of this. So that is my plan for today. So let's just get started with the first collar. I can pretty much explain it all like right here because it doesn't take very long. So pretty much for like the bumpy one, I'm just gonna take the collar and the collar pattern piece and just cut 2 of the greens out of it. And so the front or the top and the bottom are both going to be the same material. And then I'm going to cut out a interfacing just to go on one of the sides. So once that's all cut out, I'm going to fuse one of the interfacings to the wrong side of one of the colors, and then just lay them right sides together, so all the way around except for like this much of a gap so I can turn it right sides out. And I also did end up sewing a ribbon on each end of the collar on the inside so that I can tie the collar together in the front. Yeah, so I'm just gonna turn it right sides out and iron it, and then close up that little gap there, and then you have a collar. So I'm gonna see you after all that to explain the second collar. Now for the second collar, pretty much the same process as the last one. Cut 2 out of that pink material, and then interfacing, fuse it to one of the sides, sandwich it, except this time when I sandwich it, I'm going to be sandwiching some lace around the inside, and then sew along it so that when I turn it right sides out, the lace is sandwiched in between the 2 layers. And I'm also going to do the ribbon on the inside, so I can tie it together. So yeah, you sew all of that together, trim what you need to be trimmed, and then turn it right sides out and iron it. And then sew that little gap again, and you have your second collar. So I'm gonna meet you back after all of that to explain the last collar. So this was just some lace that I had lying around, and it ended up being like really thick. So basically what I did is I just cut it in half so I could use that little lower piece, and I just ended up basting it a little bit just to gather enough for it to curve nicely, and then I went ahead and I sandwiched it in these 2 collar pieces. So on to the last one. This is the one that's going to be the tucked one with this white material. And this one's going to be a little bit more complicated than the other ones because this is actually the shirt part. So pretty much I'm going to cut out all of the fabric, and this is only one layered, and what I'm going to end up doing with the raw edges I will explain in a second. So first thing is I cut out everything, which includes the 2 front pieces, the back piece on a fold, and then I forget what it's called. It's like the collar piece that connects the collar and to the shirt, and then the collar. And then you do interfacing for both that collar piece and the collar. So what you do is you sew the shoulders together, and I will meet you back after all that. Now that the shoulders are sewn, it is time to sew the little button spots. So pretty much you're just going to fold both sides over twice, and then I'm just going to sew along the one side to close it and the other side to keep it flat. And that is the spot for your buttons. Now time for the collar piece. So pretty much you're just going to do the same thing that I've done with all the collars. Fuse the interfacing to both of those pieces, and then for the actual collar piece I'm just going to lay them right sides together and then sew along the top, everything but the bottom, then turn it right sides out and poke out the little corners and iron it. Now for the little piece that connects the collar to the shirt, you are going to basically sandwich the collar into that little piece with that piece right sides together, and then you're going to sew along that curve and then turn it out. And then pretty much that piece gets sewn onto the shirt. So this was a little bit smaller than my shirt, so I just put a little pleat in the back, and then I just sandwiched the shirt into that little piece that connects the collar, and then sew along that. And then I will meet you back after all that. I forgot to mention that in order for this to stay on, you have to put an elastic connecting the front and the back. So that kind of creates like a little armhole, so to speak, for you to put your arm through and be able to button up in the front, and it'll stay on. Now, to hide the raw edges, what I ended up doing was a while ago, I mistakenly picked up this bias tape that was very small, and I didn't realize it. So I just took this like little BB bias tape and I put it all the way around all of the raw edges. So that's all done. And then I went ahead and I added the buttons, so it goes one up at the collar, one just beneath it, and then 2, 3. So not a lot of buttons for this. And then the last thing that I did for this was, since I was kind of planning on making 4 things and kind of ran out of time, so instead of doing 4, which was another tucked in collared shirt, I'm just going to embellish this collared shirt. So pretty much I'm going to just add some embroidery under the collar, give it a nice little springy touch. I'm not great at embroidering, so don't judge me for that. But I'm just gonna add like little flowers onto the collar piece, and then put fusible interfacing on the other side to kind of keep all those strings down, hopefully. And I guess I will see you in the final look. and voila. So this part turned out really good. I love the little embroidery. I have no patience for embroidery, so this was a feat for me. The separate collars are okay. I kind of meant them to go by themselves, but literally couldn't figure out an outfit for them to go by themselves. And since they weren't really meant to be on their own, they were meant to be attached to a shirt kind of thing. They just didn't really sit the way I wanted them to, so I feel like I have to like figure that out a bit more and then remake them maybe. But underneath the collar they fit fine because they go up the way they're supposed to go up. So I think it looks like okay under the collar, adds a little bit more of a touch. You know, adds a bit more of, you know, added to the outfit. So I think it's okay underneath. But if I were to do this again, I need to maybe buy a specific pattern for the standalone collar or kind of figure out how to make it better. But I think this part right here turned out really good, and I can definitely wear it with like tons of my sweaters. It just makes me look like a sophisticated gal, if you will, especially with my hair up in my little bun thing that's probably falling apart by now. Yeah, so pretty good experiment, I would say. Definitely love this part. I definitely want to make more of these in the future. Maybe not as a video, but for myself. But now you know what they look like. Yeah, this is definitely a good thing for me because I do have like these big shirts with like collars like this that I've been wanting to put underneath my sweaters, but it's just like too much because the arms are made especially poofy for a reason, and it's just too much underneath the sweater. So just having just this little collar bit definitely feels a lot better, I would say. So I would definitely give this a try. Again, the pattern is linked down below. Hopefully that works. Yeah, like these were a fun little experiment. I feel like if they just sat better, I would like them so much more. Like, cause they go up like a collar is supposed to, and how it's supposed to like fold down like that so it sits up. So I feel like if I had one that sat more like on my shoulders, I would like it a bit more. But it's just sitting so awkwardly. So I guess underneath the collar, it's okay. I could just do better. So, anywho, if you liked what I did, go ahead and like and subscribe. I post most Saturdays, mostly at noon. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.